Have you ever felt that something about reality just doesn't add up? That beneath the surface of your everyday life, there's a code running, a pattern you can almost see. What if I told you that the world you experience, everything you see, touch, and believe, is not what you think it is? Not a random collection of events, but a carefully designed simulation, with architects working behind the scenes. Scientists conducting the double-slit experiment discovered something that should be impossible. Particles behave differently when observed. It's as if reality itself knows when it's being watched, changing its behavior accordingly. The universe responding to consciousness. But this isn't just modern physics. Ancient Gnostic texts warned of this reality thousands of years ago. The Nag Hammadi manuscripts describe a cosmic prison controlled by entities they called archons, invisible architects manipulating human perception and trapping us in a false reality. Think about your daily routine. Wake up, commute, work, eat, sleep, repeat. The 9-to-5 workday, the weekend structure, the constant chase for status and possessions. Did you choose this life? Or was this pattern programmed into your reality? A 2023 study found that 89% of human decisions follow predictable patterns. We think we're making free choices, but we're running on scripts, like characters in a video game, responding to pre-programmed triggers. What feels like freedom is actually controlled behavior. The best prison is one where the prisoners don't know they're imprisoned, where they defend their own chains and mock anyone who questions them. These prison walls aren't made of brick and mortar. They're made of beliefs, habits, and fears, carefully constructed to keep you contained. Behind the scenes of what we call normal life exists a group that's been pulling strings for centuries. These aren't the politicians you see on TV or the billionaires making headlines. They're far more subtle, far more effective. Think of them as stage directors in the biggest show on Earth. These hidden architects don't use force. They don't need to. They use something much more powerful: desire. They make us want things: status, money, the newest phone, the bigger house, the better car. They've perfected the art of making you believe these desires are your own. They control the flow of information through media networks. Your smartphone isn't just a tool. It's the most sophisticated control device ever created. It tracks your movements, monitors your interests, and constantly feeds you a customized reality designed to keep you docile and consuming. Have you noticed the glitches? Quantum tunneling allows particles to pass through solid barriers they shouldn't be able to cross, like finding holes in the walls of reality. The placebo effect isn't mind over matter. It's proof that our beliefs can rewrite the program. Déjà vu isn't a brain hiccup. It's you catching the simulation recycling old scenarios. But here's what terrifies them. Their biggest weakness is awareness. Once you see the prison, you start seeing the bars everywhere. The more conscious you become, the harder the program must work to maintain its illusion. And that's where our journey begins, because I'm going to show you exactly how to spot the glitches in the system, recognize the patterns in the code, and start writing your own reality. The choice is yours. Continue living in the comfortable illusion they've created, or take the first step toward true freedom. In the next part, we'll reveal exactly who these hidden architects are, how they built the prison of your daily life, and what they gain from keeping you asleep. Welcome back. If you've continued watching, something inside you resonates with this truth. That voice isn't random. It's the real you struggling to wake up. Now let's identify exactly who these hidden architects are and how they've been manipulating your reality from birth. These entities have been called many names throughout history. The Gnostics called them archons. David Icke refers to them as the hidden hand. Some traditions speak of jinn or interdimensional beings, but their specific identity matters less than understanding their methods and motivations. Because once you recognize their patterns, you can see them operating everywhere. Let's start with how they program you from childhood. The education system isn't designed to create critical thinkers. It's designed to create compliant workers. Notice how it rewards memorization over creativity, obedience over questioning. The standardized testing, the bell schedules, the rigid hierarchy, all preparation for the cubicle farms and retail positions that await most graduates. The financial system isn't broken. It's functioning exactly as designed. The average American carries over $90,000 in debt. This isn't an accident. By creating a system where debt is unavoidable, student loans, mortgages, credit cards with predatory interest rates, they ensure you'll spend your life energy working to pay it off. A debt slave doesn't have time to question the nature of reality. Have you noticed how the mainstream media presents the same narratives, regardless of the channel? The illusion of choice masks uniformity of message. From childhood, you're programmed to trust these sources implicitly. They don't just report news. They shape your perception of what's important, what's true, and what's possible. When all sources agree on a narrative, few question its validity. This is reality by consensus, manufactured consent. The food supply is filled with additives that dull critical thinking. The pharmaceutical industry doesn't cure, it creates customers. Anxiety, depression, ADHD, these aren't just conditions to be medicated. They're often natural responses to an unnatural world. When you feel that something's wrong with the system, you're labeled as having something wrong with you. Powerful medications dull your senses and intuition, the very tools you need to see through the illusion. Social media platforms aren't products. You are the product. They're engineered to be addictive, triggering dopamine hits with every like and notification. The average person checks their phone 96 times daily, once every 10 minutes. This isn't just distraction, it's programming. By fragmenting your attention and rewarding social compliance, they prevent the sustained focus needed to recognize the deeper patterns of control. Beyond the visible control systems lie more subtle technologies. Electromagnetic frequencies surround us constantly, influencing brainwave patterns and emotional states. Smart devices monitor your location, conversations, and habits, even when turned off. The infrastructure for total surveillance isn't coming. It's already here. integrated so seamlessly into daily life that you've been trained to see it as convenience rather than control. Fear is their most powerful tool. A frightened population doesn't think clearly, it reacts. Terrorism, pandemics, economic collapse, climate catastrophe. These dangers may be real, but their presentation is carefully calibrated to maximize anxiety and minimize rational response. When you're afraid, you surrender freedoms willingly. You accept surveillance in exchange for security. You choose safety over truth. This is how rights disappear, not through force, but through fear. The materialistic matrix keeps you trapped through artificial desires. The bigger house, newer car, luxury vacation, these aren't needs, but engineered wants. By the time you acquire one status symbol, they've already programmed you to desire the next. This endless treadmill ensures you'll continue working within their system, too exhausted and indebted to question why. The stuff you own starts to own you. Physical anchors, preventing spiritual liberation. So why do they work so hard to keep you asleep? Because your consciousness is powerful beyond measure. Quantum physics shows that reality isn't solid, it's responsive to observation. Particles exist as probability waves until observed. Your attention and intention literally shape the physical world. If enough people became truly conscious, recognizing their creative power, the simulation would begin to break down. The architects would lose their advantage. This is what they fear, your awakening. But now we've identified their methods. What can you do about it? In Part 3, we'll reveal specific techniques to detect the glitches in your reality, recognize programming in your daily life, and most importantly, how to start writing your own code instead of running theirs. The prison doors aren't locked. They never were. They only seemed that way because you were taught not to see them. It's time to walk through. Welcome to the final part of our journey. If you're still with me, you've already demonstrated exceptional awareness, the willingness to question your reality. Now it's time to move from understanding to action. Breaking free isn't about escaping the simulation entirely. It's about becoming conscious within it, learning to recognize its patterns, and beginning to exert your own influence on the code. Step 1. Begin documenting the glitches. Start keeping a reality journal. Write down anything that seems off, coincidences, déjà vu moments, odd synchronicities, like seeing the same numbers repeatedly. Do you constantly see 11:11 on the clock? Do certain themes or symbols appear in your life with unusual frequency? These aren't random. They're system responses to your increasing awareness. By documenting them, you'll start to see patterns that were previously invisible. Step 2. Develop your awareness through meditation. This isn't just spiritual practice. It's practical simulation hacking. Regular meditation strengthens your observer consciousness, the same force that collapses quantum probability waves into particles. Start with just 5 minutes daily, focusing only on your breath. As thoughts arise, don't fight them. Simply observe them without attachment. This simple practice begins to separate your core consciousness from the programmed thoughts constantly inserted by the system. Step 3. Break your routines intentionally. The simulation maintains control through predictability. Taking the same route to work, eating the same foods, watching the same shows. These routines strengthen the neural pathways that keep you trapped. Introduce pattern interrupts. Take a different route home. Eat dessert first. Talk to someone you'd normally avoid. Use your non-dominant hand for simple tasks. These small acts of deviation create processing errors in the system, moments where new possibilities emerge. Step 4. Implement a media fast. For 1 week, completely disconnect from news, social media, and entertainment programming. This isn't just digital detox, it's breaking the primary input channel they use to program your reality. Without their constant narrative reinforcement, your mind begins to clear. Thoughts you assumed were your own reveal themselves as implanted programming. The first few days will feel uncomfortable. That's the system fighting to maintain connection. Push through. By day 7, you'll experience clarity you haven't felt since childhood. Step 5. Change what you consume physically. Processed foods, alcohol, and pharmaceuticals dull your perception and maintain the veil. Begin eliminating artificial ingredients, excess sugar, and unnecessary medications. Increase natural foods, especially those with consciousness-expanding properties. Turmeric, blueberries, leafy greens, nuts, and seeds. Proper hydration alone can dramatically increase mental clarity. As your physical vessel purifies, your ability to perceive beyond the programmed boundaries naturally expands. Step 6. Study natural patterns. The architects built the simulation based on mathematical principles visible throughout nature. Fibonacci sequences, golden ratios, fractal patterns. These aren't just aesthetic. They're the underlying code of our reality. Begin observing these patterns in flowers, trees, river networks, and cloud formations. Your subconscious will start recognizing the simulation's building blocks, making the artificial constructs easier to identify by contrast. Step 7. Reprogram your internal dialogue. Your thoughts aren't all your own. Many were installed through education, media, and social conditioning. Begin catching and questioning negative thought loops. I'm not enough. This is just how things are. That's impossible. These are simulation limitations disguised as personal beliefs. Replace them intentionally. I am powerful beyond measure. Reality is malleable. I create my experience. This isn't positive thinking. It's literally rewriting your portion of the simulation's code. Step 8. Conduct your own experiments. The simulation responds to focused intention. Start testing this with small manifestations. Visualize seeing a specific unusual object or animal. Then observe how quickly it appears in your reality. Set intentions before sleep for specific dream content or insights. Request clear signs about decisions. These aren't spiritual games. They're direct interactions with the simulation's response mechanics. As you verify your influence on reality, your confidence in larger modifications naturally increases. Step 9. connect with other awakened minds. The simulation maintains control by isolating those who see through the illusion. Find others asking similar questions. Create spaces to share observations and experiments. When multiple conscious observers agree on a new reality parameter, its manifestation accelerates dramatically. This is why the architects work so hard to keep us divided and distracted. They understand that collective awakening is their greatest threat. The final step is the simplest yet most powerful. Reclaim your sovereignty. Stop asking for permission to explore your reality. Release the need for others to validate your experiences. The prison doors have always been open. They were only closed in your perception. As you implement these practices, remember that awakening isn't escaping the simulation. It's becoming conscious within it and learning to use it wisely. You are not separate from this reality. You are an essential part of its unfolding. This knowledge isn't just power, it's freedom. Welcome to the final chapter of our exploration. If you've been practicing the techniques we've discussed, you're likely experiencing reality differently already, noticing glitches, questioning assumptions, recognizing patterns. Now we'll explore what life looks like beyond the veil, when you're fully conscious within the simulation, but no longer controlled by it. These advanced concepts may challenge everything you thought you knew about existence. The first realization beyond the veil is that linear time is an illusion. Past, present, and future coexist simultaneously. What we experience as now is simply where our consciousness is focused within an infinite field of possibilities. This explains premonitions, déjà vu, and the strange feeling that you've lived this moment before. You have, in another potential timeline. By shifting your focus intentionally, you can begin accessing different timeline possibilities, selecting more optimal versions of reality. The second realization is that consciousness isn't something you possess. It's what you fundamentally are. The universe itself is conscious, experiencing itself through countless perspectives, including yours. This isn't philosophy. It's supported by quantum physics and neuroscience. The patterns in your brain mirror cosmic structures because they're expressions of the same mathematical principles. You're not a separate entity observing reality. You're the universe becoming aware of itself. This shift in identity dissolves fear and expands your creative capacity exponentially. The third realization involves the mechanism of manifestation. Quantum experiments confirm that particles exist as probability waves until observed. Your attention literally collapses potential into experience. This isn't mystical thinking, it's demonstrable physics. By focusing your consciousness with clear intention and emotional energy, you directly influence probability fields, bringing specific potentials into physical experience. The key is alignment. Your conscious intentions, subconscious beliefs, and emotional state must cohere. When they do, reality responds with remarkable synchronicity. The fourth realization is that objective reality is largely myth. 10 people can experience the same event entirely differently based on their beliefs, expectations, and perceptual filters. The architects exploit this by creating consensus reality. When enough people believe something, it gains stability in collective experience. But this also reveals your power. By consciously choosing your interpretations, you're literally creating your version of reality. Start asking, how else could I see this situation? This simple reframing technique breaks the spell of programmed perception and opens new possibilities. The fifth realization concerns the source of beliefs. Most of what you consider your thoughts were implanted through culture, education, media, and family conditioning. These belief systems create the boundaries of your personal simulation. When you hear that inner voice saying, "That's impossible," or "People like us don't do that," you're encountering a programmed limitation. Question every belief ruthlessly. Is this actually true? Who taught me this? Does this serve my expansion? Beliefs aren't facts. They're simulation parameters that can be rewritten once identified. The sixth realization reveals that all knowledge is accessible. What we call intuition or inspiration is often consciousness accessing the collective information field. Remote viewing experiments have repeatedly demonstrated that consciousness can perceive across space and time when properly focused. Begin treating your intuition as a technological interface rather than random feeling. When faced with decisions, create a clear, internal query, then quiet your mind and observe what arises. With practice, you'll distinguish between programmed fear responses and authentic, intuitive guidance. The seventh realization concerns synchronicity, meaningful coincidences that defy statistical probability. As you awaken, these increase dramatically. The person you were just thinking about calls. You need information, and it appears within hours. You think of a rare symbol and see it 3 times that day. These aren't random. They're feedback from the system, confirming you're affecting the probability field. Start treating synchronicities as communication. When they occur, ask, what is this showing me? What direction is being confirmed? Synchronicities become your cosmic GPS, confirming you're navigating effectively. The eighth realization reveals that emotions are energy frequencies that directly affect your reality field. The architects use fear, anger, and division to keep collective consciousness at lower frequencies, where manipulation is easier. But emotions can be intentionally transmuted. Rather than suppressing negative emotions, learn to alchemize them. Acknowledge the feeling, locate it in your body, breathe into it without judgment, then intentionally shift it toward appreciation or peace. This isn't just feeling better, it's literally changing the electromagnetic field you project, affecting which probability waves collapse into your experience. The ninth realization integrates ancient healing wisdom with quantum biology. Your physical body is an extension of consciousness, not separate from it. Disease often begins as energetic blockage before manifesting physically. The placebo effect isn't anomalous. It's revealing how consciousness affects biology. Begin treating your body as a conscious partner. Talk to your cells, visualize health, and use intention to direct energy. Techniques dismissed as alternative often work directly with the consciousness-reality interface. Your body is literally responding to your beliefs about it. Change those beliefs consciously, and physical changes follow. The final and most profound realization involves purpose. The simulation isn't a prison, it's a classroom. Every challenge, relationship difficulty, and apparent obstacle contains precisely the growth catalyst your consciousness has chosen to evolve. When life becomes overwhelming, ask, what might my higher awareness be wanting to learn from this? This shift transforms victimhood into empowerment, seeing even the most difficult experiences as meaningful rather than random suffering. The architects want you to believe you're powerless, but the opposite is true. You chose this reality precisely because it offers the exact conditions for your expansion. As you integrate these realizations, you'll notice your responsibility naturally expands. The awakened mind feels called to help others see beyond their programming, not through force or argument, but through example. Simply living consciously creates ripples that affect the entire field. When enough individuals reach this awareness threshold, a quantum leap in collective consciousness becomes possible. This isn't spiritual theory, it's mimetic evolution. Ideas spread like viruses, and freedom is the most contagious idea of all. The architects know this. It's why they work tirelessly to suppress awakening, but their control is already slipping. We stand at an unprecedented moment in human history. Advanced surveillance technology, artificial intelligence, and media manipulation have given the architects more control tools than ever before. Yet simultaneously, more people are awakening than at any previous time. This tension can't sustain. We're approaching a bifurcation point where humanity either submits to complete technological control or experiences a mass awakening beyond their programming. The outcome isn't predetermined. It depends on how many individuals consciously choose to see beyond the illusion and reclaim their creative power. Remember, awakening doesn't mean rejecting the material world or escaping responsibility. The most evolved consciousness can navigate both spiritual understanding and practical reality, remaining grounded while expanded. Continue participating in life, building relationships, and creating value, but now with fuller awareness of your true nature and creative capacity. The ultimate freedom isn't floating above reality. It's consciously engaging with life on your terms. No longer manipulated by hidden architects or limited by artificial boundaries. You are simultaneously the player, the character, and the game designer. Now go live with that power and responsibility. This journey of awakening doesn't end with this video. It's just beginning. I've created additional resources to support your continued exploration, practical exercises, community connections, and deeper dives into each concept we've covered. The link is in the description below. Remember, You're not alone in this awakening. Millions around the world are experiencing the same recognition that reality is far more extraordinary and malleable than we've been led to believe. Share this message with those who are ready. Trust your intuition about who needs to hear it. The greatest revolution in human history isn't fought with weapons. It's won through awakened consciousness, and it's already underway. Thank you for your courage in facing these truths. Until next time, stay aware, stay sovereign, and keep questioning everything.